Good afternoon. The meeting will now come to order. Hello, I am Marcia Herbert, President of the Board of Education. I would like to welcome you to the October 10th, 2024 board meeting. In keeping with the board's commitment to open communication with the community, this meeting is being streamed live on CCPS website at www.carrollk12 and broadcast live on Channel 21. We are also recording this meeting so that it can be accessed on demand on our website and broadcast throughout the month on Channel 21. Public participation will be held at approximately 5:15 p.m. Speakers will be directed into the board room from the building lobby and are allotted 3 minutes to address the board. As a reminder, please silence all cell phones and other devices. Board members, please turn off your microphones when you're not speaking. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. We will be reconvening in closed session to consider the acquisition of real property for a public purpose and matters directly related thereto, and to consult with counsel to obtain legal advice. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
By Ms. Battaglia, excuse me, and seconded by?
I'll second.
By Dr. Dorsey. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It passes unanimously.
Chairman, just to clarify, we're reconvening to go into closed session after the conclusion of the public session meeting.
You got it. That sounds good.
Right now.
No. No comment. Sounds like a plan. All right, now I need a motion for the approval of the agenda, please.
So moved.
By Ms. Battaglia, seconded by Dr. Dorsey. Any corrections, comments? I call for the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It passes unanimously. Now I need a motion for the approval of minutes.
So moved.
By Ms. Battaglia, seconded by
I'll second.
Ms. Savigny. Corrections, comments, inquiries? All right, I call for the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It passes unanimously. And now we have the Carroll County Student Government Report. Good evening.
Hi, good evening. Thank you so much for your time. My name is Anya Slowinski, and I am the Carroll County Student Government President for the 2024 to 2025 school year. So over this past month, staff members and officers have been working on planning our Fall General Assembly that's taking place October 16th at Winters Mill High School. They've been working on creating workshops that will be presented at the GA and promoting the event to ensure a good turnout. Our theme is Operation Be Informed, and we will be having workshops centered around involving students in the legislative process. Our agenda consists of opening remarks from Superintendent McCabe and a keynote address from the founder of Hampstead Little Free Pantry, Mackenzie Greenwood. In addition to finalizing plans for our fall GA, each staff member and officer has created a passion project that will be approved at our upcoming meeting. They will be working on this project throughout the year. Finally, we have been preparing for our Board of Education Candidate Forum that will be happening this upcoming Monday. Thank you so much for your time.
Why, thank you. There is no public comment, no employee groups. Ms. Jordan's, they have a rep meeting. And now we will move on to recognitions. Mr. Whistler, would you like to read your recognition day, please? And followed by the board report.
All right. Well, thank you, Madam President. I appreciate it. Next week, October 14th through the 18th, is National School Lunch Week. Our food service employees do a great job ensuring that our students have access to healthy meals each and every day. A nutritious lunch is important for our students and contributes to their well-being and academic success. Thanks to all of our dedicated food service employees for serving our students and promoting healthy eating habits. And if I may proceed to my comments, excuse me. I first want to give my heartfelt thoughts and concerns for those folks that, in the South, especially in the Carolinas and Florida, as they experience this hurricane. Our thoughts and prayers are with all of them. And I appreciate everything that I see a lot of nonprofits doing around the region to help them. So just wanted to start off with that. On September 17th, I attended a Chamber of Commerce breakfast in Mount Airy that featured Commissioner Mike Guerin as the guest speaker. I really appreciate the Commissioner's commitment to our school system, our teachers and students, and I really appreciate our business community's willingness to support our students with internship opportunities and just ways that they can employ our students during the summer and after they graduate. On September 30th and October 4th, I attended football games at Winters Mill High and Liberty High schools. I'm really proud of our school athletics program and how it helps bring our communities together. Our Carroll athletes and parents alike have exhibited true sportsmanship and courtesy and respect for the opposing team and our referees and officials, and I really appreciate their efforts. On October 5th, I attended the Carroll Christian Men's Prayer Breakfast in Westminster. I loved the inspiring message of hope and redemption of Matt Tyner, who is Towson University's head baseball coach. Drug and alcohol abuse is a very real threat in our society today and a huge fear of every parent that I know. And I'm grateful for our state's attorney and many others in our school system that do what they can to educate our students about the dangers associated with substance abuse. And finally, I attended the Maryland Association of Boards of Education, otherwise known as MABE, conference in Annapolis between October 7th and 9th. My colleague, Dr. Dorsey, and her committee members assembled a terrific lineup of speakers and meaningful breakout sessions. I learned a great deal from our Board of Education colleagues from across the state, what they do well, the lessons learned that they've experienced in their districts, and ways we all can collaborate to help our teachers, students, and parents improve education at every level. The two major takeaways for me is that MABE is committed to working with leaders in our legislature and our county governments to identify portions of Blueprint that should be modified, delayed, or maybe even eliminated to ensure that we all meet realistic funding projections. And two, was really moved by our superintendent of schools, Dr. Carrie Wright's message. She is a true partner who is dedicated to transparency of the data and improving education for every student. So again, Dr. Dorsey, thank you for coordinating such a terrific conference. And that's all I have, Madam President.
Thank you. Dr. Dorsey.
Okay, first of all, I will highlight that October is National Principals Month, a time for us to celebrate excellence in school leadership and to recognize the critical role that our principals play in school achievement and student success. They do a tremendous job leading our efforts to focus on teaching and learning. On behalf of the board, I would like to thank all of our outstanding principals for their leadership, hard work, and dedication to our schools, students, and staff. And on to my activities for the month. On September 12th, I attended a conference program committee planning meeting to finalize all of the logistics for our MABE conference. September 13th, our County Equity Council met, and during that time, we discussed regional meetings and trainings for this year and reviewed MCAP data based on student groups. I continue to thank Dr. Moore for planning and facilitating this meeting, and I really do thank the staff and community members who are part of our Equity Council. On September 17th, I attended a Sykesville Middle School planning meeting. The architects from Design Collective shared the schematic design concept for the addition to be built at Sykesville Middle. On September 23rd, it was a pleasure to visit Freedom Elementary School as Mrs. Smith and her staff hosted State Superintendent of Schools, Dr. Carrie Wright. The highlight was hearing about the great things the staff members are doing and visiting several classrooms where teachers were engaging students in elements of the science of reading. And even with a number of people visiting their classrooms, teaching and learning continued without a beat. So many thanks to Mrs. Smith and the staff at Freedom Elementary. September 24th, I attended a MABE equity meeting to finalize plans for the roundtable discussions to be held at the MABE conference. October 2nd, I attended a conference program committee meeting where we assigned facilitators for all of our conference sessions and walked through the entire schedule of events planned for the conference. On October 4th, it was a pleasure to attend the Maryland Teacher of the Year Gala and to be in the presence of our CCPS Teacher of the Year, Brian Thompson, and the other systems teachers of the year. It is always an evening where the profession of teaching is highlighted and appreciated. So I hope Mr. Thompson will enjoy all of the upcoming opportunities that will be provided. And finally, October 6th through 9th, I was among about 200 persons who attended the MABE conference this year. I was delighted to see all of the networking that took place among our state education leaders and board members. A special thanks to Mr. O'Mealy and Mr. O'Neill for participating on one of our panels. Another special thanks to Dr. McCabe, Marcia Herbert, and Steve Whistler for attending this year's conference. MABE's Executive Director, Milton Nagel, welcomed everyone to the conference, and our keynote speaker, Freddie Shagog, shared an inspiring message on what is your legacy. There were workshops, hot topics, and backed by popular demand, we had a student panel to share insights on what's important to them. State Superintendent Dr. Wright shared an important message yesterday and answered several questions from the audience. And finally, our conference ended with keynote speaker Scott Friedman, who shared a rather humorous yet meaningful message entitled, "The Best Way to Predict the Future is to Create It." And I would like to take the time to also thank Andy for our contributions to the gift table and to Dr. Moore for packaging and wrapping the gifts so wonderfully. And I must say that we did hear some comments. Over the years, we've always taken Balker's fruit baskets, and we had some people comment, "Oh, we don't have Balker's this year." So I think no matter what we present next year as a gift, we're going to have to make sure one of those gifts comes from
Got to be Balkers. Yes, because we all heard it.
Yes.
Thank you. Ms. Battaglia.
October is National Bullying Prevention Month, which aims to increase awareness and prevent the bullying of our children. Bullying comes in many forms in our schools, in the community, and on social media, and its negative effects can last a lifetime. We all can help make a difference by identifying bullying behavior and supporting those who are bullied. If your child is being bullied at school, contact the school counselor or school administrator to share your concerns and to work together to address the issue, or as well, fill out a bullying report online. My activities, September 12th, I attended the LEC meeting at the Career and Technology Center. September 17th, I attended virtually the Health Council meeting. September 24th, we held the CAC meeting here in the central office. On September 25th, I attended Philanthropist of the Year Award, which was hosted by the Community Foundation. And unfortunately, I was not able to attend the MABE conference. I was attending another conference down in Orlando, which had been planned for well over a year ago. So, but I did do some learning on the psychology and the makeup of some activities and of a creator. So that was actually really interesting, and I like to apply those things as part of my job here. Upcoming events, we have a Career and Technology Center Skill-a-thon breakfast on October 19th, so make sure you go over to Career and Technology Center and contribute to that. It is delicious. It is amazing. We have various trunk or treats throughout the county for Halloween, and I know the Ag Center is holding one on October 27th. And I hope everyone does enjoy their Halloween time. You know, make sure you're trick-or-treating safely. Check with local nonprofits to see if they're accepting donations for our troops and for those affected by the hurricanes. And don't forget about our livestock animals. I have seen quite a few farmers on social media. They are talking about they're trying to gather donations to take to North Carolina to help with livestock. So I know the mill in Hampstead is accepting donations, so please if you can help out, that'd be great. The Carroll County 4-H Extension Office is accepting canned food drive donations for the Carroll County Food Sunday. And finished up my other 2 classes for college, started 2 more, and after I'm done that, I only have 1 more to go. I'm almost there. And lastly, make sure to go out and vote on Election Day, which is November 5th. I don't care who it is for, I don't care what party, just make sure you make your vote count. It is very important. It is our civic duty as citizens of the United States. And that's it.
Ms. Savigny?
Thank you, Ms. Herbert. So I'll start off by saying this is America's Safe Schools Week. So October 20th through 26th has been designated as America's Safe Schools Week. Here in Carroll County, we continue to place an emphasis on improving school security to ensure that our schools are safe places to learn and teach. Thanks to Curtis Pierce, Brian Elliott, the Security Advisory Council, our school resource officers, and local law enforcement for their leadership in keeping our students and staff safe and our buildings secure. And I just want to real quickly report out, so my highlight for the month was going to the Teacher of the Year event last week. It's such a great event. I have not missed a single one that they've held. There was a year or two during COVID that it wasn't held, but I did make it to every one that was held. And it's such a great event that really showcases teaching as a profession and the teaching talent that we have across this great state of ours. So it was great to kind of celebrate in the spirit of fellowship in that regard, and to get to know Mr. Brian Thompson a little bit better. It was very exciting to hear from him about how he has 94 kids in his first year band and orchestra classes or sessions. It's pretty amazing. Things were pretty devastated during COVID from a band and orchestra perspective. And to hear that it really has bounced back and that we've got such great classes and such fantastic teachers teaching our band and orchestra. You could just see the passion and excitement in his eyes, and it was really great to be able to get to talk to him about it. And I know he will do an amazing job representing our county this year. And with that, I will.
And where did our student go?
Oh.
There she is. Good evening, dear. Would you like to say a few words?
Sure.
Thank you.
I'd like to come out here and say sorry I couldn't be here in person nor attend the MAPE conference that happened earlier this week. I came down with the cold, I believe, the day of homecoming, and I have not been able to recover yet. So I'm here on virtual. So CCSGA is holding their Board of Education Candidate Forum in October 14th. Our executive board has been working very hard for this event, and we'd love for students to come out and watch this event and to be able to connect with the Board of Education and the people that they'll be seeing potentially in the future on the dais. On October 16th, we will be having our very first General Assembly at Wintersville High School. We're also very excited for this event since this is the first assembly that we're going to have this year. We are going to have a great session. We have a great lineup of workshops from teamwork and communication to media literacy and being a good student. And we have our own staff meeting October 15th to be able to finalize everything that we need. And I'd also like to remind students that the first quarter is almost over. It's going to be over in the first-ish week of November, and I hope our students are keeping up their good work, staying strong in their classes, and especially for our seniors to start turning in their college applications, especially if those are due October 15th, which I know a couple of schools do. And with that, I'll end my notes.
Thank you. And if you want to say something, I'll be looking over if you want to put your little raise the hand button, okay? Got it. Okay. October 21st through 24th is National School Bus Safety Week. Imagine me talking about school buses. At this time, I would like to read a proclamation from the state. The State of Maryland proclamation from the Governor of the State of Maryland, National School Bus Safety Week, October 21st through 25th, 2024. Whereas Maryland Student Transportation administrators and operators remain diligent and committed to ensuring the safe transportation of more than 628,000 students on a daily basis, and their efforts are critical to the operation and safety of our schools. And whereas all school bus drivers, attendants, and alternative school vehicles drivers employed by or contracted by local education agencies must achieve rigorous and specialized training as well as adhere to the highest standards of school bus safety. And whereas during the school year, these fleets travel more than 100 million miles, operate in a variety of weather conditions, and have an outstanding safety record despite the ever-present challenges they faced ensuring that motorists adhere to the rules of the road around school buses during student loading and unloading. And whereas Maryland is pleased to join the nation in recognizing National School Bus Safety Week in all our 23 counties, Baltimore City, and Seed School of Maryland, and recognize the school bus drivers, attendants, and alternative school vehicle drivers who connect our children to their school communities and keep Maryland students safe. Now, therefore, I, Wes Moore, Governor of the State of Maryland, do hereby proclaim October 21st through the 25th, 2024 as National School Bus Safety Week in Maryland, and do commend this observation to all our citizens. In Carroll County, we also have designated Tuesday, October 22nd as Bus Driver and Bus Assistants Recognition Day. Thank you to all our drivers and assistants, as well as our Transportation Service Department back in the back, for their commitment to providing safe and efficient transportation for our students. And my report is, wow, it's hard to believe we've been in school for over 1 month. During the past few weeks, I've been attending football games on Friday night after riding lessons, and it was a pleasure to see our families and community members out supporting our teams. And in fact, on Friday night at Manval, the line to get in the parking lot was at Route 30. At the end of the game, they stopped traffic. The police were there to stop traffic to get people off the lots. It was unbelievable. It was their homecoming. But I was at Westminster High School the week before. I went to 2 football games, and it was packed. So it was really glad to see. The weather was nice. I saw that one. I yelled at him. Of course, he was traveling along with the band and all that. But no, it's
You're wrong,
been,
Mr. Shocking.
it's the participation and the weather has been nice on Friday nights, so that was great. I also attended the Women's Republican Club Candidate Forum, which was open to the public. It was a great opportunity to see the candidates and hear their views, and that was held at Explorations Common. And I was kind of surprised that there weren't quite as many people there. But let's hope everybody else gets out and meets everybody. Then I attended the MABE conference in Annapolis. It was excellent, informative, and conferences, and a wonderful opportunity to interact with fellow board members from around the state. And they knew I was from Carroll County. I want to commend Dr. Dorsey, who was co-chairman of the conference, for a job well done. It was very nice this year, and it's evident that you all did a lot of time planning and a lot of hard work for making that a successful conference. And I did win. I got this was funny because they had a table and this little old man's name was called out first, and then they called my name out. I was sprinting up there. I saw an Old Bay basket. Well, let me tell you something. I grabbed that Old Bay basket, and after the conference, this one man says, you were locked and loaded on that one, because I'm just about, he did not have a chance. So, and that was from Georgetown. So there were some really nice gifts, but they did miss good old Balkers. They really did. And I need to commend 2 men here tonight, John O'Neill, our Assistant Superintendent of Operations, and Ed O'Mealy, our legal counsel, for their presentation on collective bargaining. In Carroll County, we are very fortunate to have implemented the career ladder and hired some very highly qualified teachers and administrators this year. And I let everyone in the room know that we were ahead of everybody else, and that Carroll County was way ahead. So
You were part of the panel.
yeah, I almost was, because I couldn't keep my mouth shut. And I even told them that we only had 4 openings at the beginning of the year at the president's luncheon, and I mean, jaws dropped that they could not believe when, is it PG or Montgomery has like 27%?
You talking about uncertified teachers?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
it's
So
pretty-
we are blessed in Carroll County, and you are doing a great job. And finally, I had the privilege of accompanying Dr. Carrie Wright, State Superintendent of Schools, when she visited Freedom Elementary on Monday, September 23rd. After a few brief remarks from Dr. McCabe and Principal Jessica Smith, we took a tour of the classrooms. I am so proud of our teachers, our students, highlighting the many things that make Freedom a great example of how school systems are achieving success in our classrooms. And there were like 10 or 15 teachers, 10 or 15 people walking into the classrooms, and those students never even saw us. It was amazing how they were so engaged, and it was like we weren't even there. And that was really impressive to me. So, take it away for a little video. You know I couldn't do that.
It's a good opportunity to really find out, as these visits are, what's happening on the ground, and reassure the board that absolutely, we've got these amazing places across the state, and they need to be highlighted. So we're working on a way to do that on a regular basis. So thank you.
Thank you.
My pleasure. My pleasure. Have a great day.
And I really want to give a shout out to Jessica Smith. She did a wonderful job, and she, I know she was stressed, but she did a great job. So I need to give her a shout out because it was really nice. So now we are going to go to the superintendent's report.
This evening, I'd like to recognize the Carroll County Public Schools high school seniors who have been named semifinalists in the National Merit Scholarship Program. Congratulations to Jason Connell, Manchester Valley High School, Bennett Halowski, Westminster High School, and Akshoba Pant, Liberty High School. To qualify as a semifinalist, students must earn a top score on the PSAT, generally in the top 1% of juniors taking the test, and plan to enroll full-time in college starting in the fall following high school graduation. They now have an opportunity to continue in the competition for the National Merit Scholarships that will be offered next spring. I also would like to congratulate Glenn Messier, principal of Linton Springs Elementary School, for receiving the Opening Doors Award presented by the American Heart Association. This national award recognizes outstanding contributions to the association's in-school programs, Kids Heart Challenge, and American Heart Challenge. The award celebrates those who excelled in fundraising, brought innovation to the in-school initiatives, and led the programs with passion. These programs help students learn how to improve their overall health while making a positive impact on others. Through engaging lesson plans and interactive technology, students get active, have fun, and learn life-saving skills. I also would like to share that Winters Mill High School is the only Maryland school to receive a National FFA Convention and Expo Student Engagement and Travel Assistance Grant. The grant will help reduce travel costs, registration fees, and other expenses associated with select FFA programs, conferences, and the National FFA Convention and Expo. Winters Mill FFA members will represent Maryland in the Agriculture Communications Career Development event at the next convention and expo. Emily Muller is the FFA advisor at Winters Mill. A few weeks ago, we announced the creation of the Superintendent's Cup to recognize the top high school athletic program for each of the 3 sports seasons. An overall winner for the year will be selected from the total scores of those 3 seasons. Selection for the award will be based on 4 categories: scholarship, sportsmanship, service, and athletic success. We believe that interscholastic athletics is more than just the end result on the scoreboard. It promotes character development, service to the community, and academic success. The board members and I will have the honor of presenting the cup to the principals and athletic directors of the winning schools at the end of each school year. And finally, I would like to echo the board members' remarks and thank Dr. Dorsey for her planning of the 2024 MABE conference, and thank my fellow board members here who were able to attend. And it truly was a great time of learning, collaborating, and networking. So thank you.
And I'll just speak up. I was one of the co-chairs. I certainly could not have done that alone, so it really took a strong committee of board members to pull it all together. But I've always enjoyed it, so.
It's very nice. It really was. It really was.
I just want to say, Pat, you've done that every year since you've been on the board, and it is a lot of work, and it doesn't go unnoticed, and it is very appreciated. So the conference is always spoken so highly of.
And she always looks like she's having a good time when she's up there at that podium. I'm always sitting in the back table.
I know where to find them.
Yeah, that's exactly right. All right, and now we do not have any presentations. And now we're going to go on to reports. And the first one is construction.
The monthly construction report details progress on our various school projects. Mr. Marks is available for any questions you may have.
I knew it was going to happen. Miss Savigny.
You know, I'm running out of meetings, Mr. Marks, so I can't let this opportunity go by.
Okay, no problem.
No, I actually just had one question on the Freedom Elementary School project. The second bullet point, it says, from discussions with the Construction Planning Committee on September 19th, more site locations are being requested for review. What exactly does that mean?
We're discussing different options of how we build these 5 rooms. So we're talking about, there's been discussion from the planning committee to have the kindergarten rooms and the pre-K room specific as part of this formula of 5 rooms closer to the other kindergarten additions. So we're trying to accommodate that as well as take care of the other rooms in their proximities. So we have a couple more options that we're reviewing right now. Okay. On the same site, of course. We're just looking at either trying to keep it as one addition, or we divide them and put the kindergarten over by the other kindergarten suite, the pre-K, I should say.
Okay, so the feasibility study kind of showed some options of what you could do, but this is something a little bit different than
Correct.
one of the options that were in the feasibility
Correct.
study.
And
Okay.
we're evaluating with the architect first right now. We're coming up with some ideas to present to the committee and the principal, of course, Ms. Smith, so we can see what they prefer.
So is the goal of those additional possible locations, is that like budget reasons, or is it more like instructional integrity of?
It's both. We're
Okay.
we're trying to make it work within the budget no matter what, and we're also trying to figure out how to work with the proximity to the playground they've just bought not long ago, too.
Okay.
So we're trying not to disrupt that. We're trying to make it work as the most efficient way, and, of course, for me to build it, I'm always thinking about how am I going to build it, right? I don't want to take up the whole site. So we're trying to figure out a way that I can best isolate our contractors for safety-wise and to be able to build it at the same time that we have operating schools. So, yeah. So we'll present those soon.
Okay. Okay. Great, thank you.
No problem.
All right, any other comments? All right, now we'll move on to the approval of bids.
There are 5 items on the award of bids this evening. First is the Integrated Pest Management Services contract, which is the annual contract for all of the integrated pest management for the entire school system. Second is the off-the-lot new vehicles. This is a returning item for 2 maintenance work trucks. The board approved this purchase in June of 2022, but they never became available for delivery. Third, we have our HVAC systems. This award is for the second and final month of renting a portable chiller for Northwest Middle School. We have identified a plan for permanent repairs and will be moving that process forward. Next, we have retirement plan consulting. This is for the annual contract for consulting services for management of our employee tax-deferred annuity plans. And finally, we have playground systems installation and service, which is an award for playground equipment installation and installation at Eldersburg Elementary. The project is funded through school PTA fundraising and a grant obtained by the Carroll delegation. Any questions, board members?
Dr. Dorsey?
Well, I just had a question on item number 2, wondering, is there a reason why those vehicles were not able to be delivered?
Supply issues in the years during and after the pandemic.
yeah.
We had a lot of equipment and other vehicles that were never able to be delivered, even though they were awarded. So this is just one more example of that.
Okay.
Mr. Whistler?
No questions, just a comment on number 5, the playground systems. Again, I just want to thank the parents for their hard work in raising funds for this playground, and also a huge thank you to our members of our state delegation that work really hard for us down in Annapolis to bring these funds back for not only the kids in our schools, but for the surrounding community kids that go on the playground and use those items even during the summer. So thanks again to everybody involved.
Thank you. Ms. Savigny?
Thanks. I have a couple of questions on each one, but so on number 1, the pest management, is this across all schools?
The whole system.
Okay, so each school might have a separate pest problem or whatever, but this is just general maintenance across all the different
Correct.
schools? Okay, great. And on number 2, so the 2 vehicles, just curious, have we been able to live without them? Like, have things been piling up?
Yeah, so there's actually an error on the report that the 2 trucks are still, it says that they were removed. They're not removed. They're still in use, the 2 that would be replaced, but it's just a matter of the cost and time of maintenance at this point.
Okay.
So replacing them will get them out of service, and then we won't have to deal with ongoing maintenance issues on the vehicles.
Okay, that was the crux of my question, because it said that they had already been removed, so I was like, were we able to make it work without them? Or we were just making those vehicles work for as long as we needed them to?
Mr. Prokop had pointed that error out to me, but it was after we had loaded board docs, so I apologize for that.
Okay, gotcha. And for the chillers, so last month we approved $41,241, and that wasn't really portrayed as a monthly cost. That was portrayed as kind of an all-in cost to get us through till we decided whether we were going to replace or repair. But now we have another month of rental for $29,761. Is this going to be a recurring thing? Like, is that a monthly cost that we're going to incur until we can get them replaced, or is this it after this month?
This is the last month, and then we're going to move to actually full replacement. So I think the first month probably was a little bit also about delivery and setup, and then the rental fee. This is the second month of rental just to get us through the warmer months of the school year. This is a system we had very similar problems with at the start of the prior school year, and I might need to look at Ray, but it's a few years down the line in HVAC renovations. So we wanted to do more than just repair it. We wanted to make longer-term repairs. When we searched for availability of parts and options for repair, Mr. Prokop and his team were actually able to find an actual full chiller to do a full replacement, and so that's what we intend to bring forward. So this should be the last month of renting the temporary mobile chiller. Either in November or December, we'll bring an award of bid request for the purchase of that replacement chiller, and then that'll become the permanent repair. And then hopefully that takes care of Northwest so that we and they don't have to live with this, which is now becoming a recurring theme at the start of every school year. I would also say, in the spirit of recognizing folks, that staff could not have been better both years in dealing with this with us and working through it with us. This became a big problem in that pre-service week when all teachers came back, and they could have been more gracious, and they found workarounds with us as we took a day or two to get it up and running. So kudos and thanks to them as well.
I knew you were going to answer that question. I knew it.
How did you know? And then the last one would be on the retirement plan consulting. So it says that CCPS and the investment committee are responsible for the oversight. Who's on the investment committee?
So the investment committee is chaired by Mr. Burke and Mr. King Keith, who's our supervisor of finance. And then folks from human resources are there, probably other people from Mr. Burke's office. And then representatives from all of the bargaining units are there. Representatives from all 5 bargaining units are there, and we historically have engaged Bolton Partners as the consultant to come in and give us advice on which funds are performing well and which funds aren't, and do we need to make changes within the plan of moving funds here or there. And then I think the committee approves those. They vote on those as recommended.
Okay.
So this is for the Bolton piece of that, the analysis and consulting piece of that.
So the Bolton contract is not a new one?
No.
This is just renewing one that's already in place?
Correct, yeah. And this is separate from healthcare consulting or actuarial services.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, I mean, I was kind of thinking about the 30,000 as sort of a fee on assets under management. You know, do you have a feel, Mr. Burke, for what that equates to? Like in basis points or anything like that?
No, we'll talk to Ken and get your response.
Okay. But this is, 30,000 is similar to the consulting fees that we've had in prior years
Yes.
for this service?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. Any other questions? All right. Now I need a motion for the acceptance of independent auditor's report. I know we didn't. I need to go back. So we motion for the award of bids. I need a second.
So moved.
By Ms. Pataglia. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It passes unanimously. Now I need a motion for the acceptance of independent auditor's report FY '24.
So moved.
So moved by Ms. Pataglia, seconded by
I'll second.
Ms. Savigny.
We are required by law to have an annual audit of our financial transactions and accounts. Our independent auditor has completed the audit, and it has been reviewed by the audit committee. The results are positive, and the audit is presented now for board acceptance.
Questions, comments?
Always a clean report.
All right, seeing none, I call for the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It passes unanimously. That's always wonderful. Now I need a motion for the approval of the high school programs of studies for 2025 to 2026.
So moved.
By Ms. Pataglia, seconded by Dr. Dorsey.
Returning for action from the September meeting, where they were presented for discussion, are changes and updates proposed to the high school program of studies for next school year. Mr. Wernick is here to highlight the proposed changes and to respond to any questions. Mr. Wernick?
Is he going to say something, or is it just,
Oh, he doesn't have to, but
Okay.
he wants to.
all right. All right, Ms. Pataglia has her.
So the only question I had is, I know last year there was an opportunity with special programs with emergency services training program in some of the high schools that the students could have taken. I noticed this year it's not in the plan.
So the program of study has not changed. They're still able to take it and count as we shared. If they take it off campus as they've done in the past, kind of like a dual enrollment course, that will accept the credit.
Is there anything, because I looked, and I'm sorry, I might just be blind and I couldn't find it, but is there something in here like that could suggest to students that there are opportunities to take evening?
Since it's not a program that we actually house, our program of studies for scheduling within our own schools, just like we do not have any dual enrollment courses because they are not our courses. So I can't put it in our program of study because it's outside of our scope within the school system.
Okay,
Makes sense.
okay. So even like welding at night, like if a student could get into welding at night,
Correct. That is not in here because it's
Okay.
not, the purpose of the program of studies is actually to build the schedule for high school students during the day within the school. And so that's why we only list courses that are within our scope, within our
school
school.
day.
Those
Okay.
would be great opportunities, just to jump in real quick, for a school counselor working with a student on their career plans or their scheduling plans. Our counselors are well aware of those opportunities and can help
Okay, good.
communicate with our students.
Yeah, because that, I mean, I know it was something I had heard from a couple parents, is they were like, they weren't aware of those opportunities. Like, their student didn't even know either that there was things that they could try to do at night. So I mean, I'm glad that we have them, but I just wish we could kind of like put it out there a little bit more if a student does not get to certain courses that they want to try to take.
Absolutely.
All right, seeing none, I call for the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It passes unanimously. Now I need a motion for the approval of curriculum guide implementation for 2024-2025. By Dr. Dorsey, seconded by Mr. Whistler.
In September, we brought these proposed revisions to our curriculum guides for discussion. With approval, the revisions will be implemented and evaluated during this school year. Final recommendations for these will be made next school year in September of 2025. Mr. Wernick is here to respond to any questions.
Seeing none?
My questions last week, last time, right?
Seeing none, I call for the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It passes unanimously. Now I need a motion for the approval of right of entry and indemnification agreement with City of Westminster.
So moved.
By Ms. Battaglia, seconded by
I'll second.
Ms. Savigny.
This is a standard right of entry agreement to allow the city access to our property to make repairs to a sewer line.
Seeing no go ahead.
So I was looking here to see like the map or whatever. Is this going to affect any of the new construction of paving or anything that we have just paid for?
I'll let Mr. Prokop answer that.
No, and I apologize that there was supposed to be a map provided. The work is going to be going on just beyond the ball fields, the baseball field, Westminster High's baseball field. It's adjacent to the existing stormwater management pond and just adjacent to where the contractor that's finishing up the work at Career and Tech is staging their materials. So it's all going to be, it's not even going to be, I don't think it's going to be even noticeable because of all the construction activity that's been occurring for the last 4 years. And I anticipate that what you can see from the school is only going to take 2 or 3 days for them to finish.
Okay.
They're going to move beyond those manholes down along the stormwater management pond, which is a different elevation. The rest of the work is just, it's not going to be even known that it's happening at the school.
Okay, good. Good to know. Thank you.
And since you mentioned sidewalks, I did go to a meeting with the commissioners and the state of Maryland, and I did thank them for the sidewalks at Westminster. So that is a good thing. So, all right, now I need a motion for the approval
Oh,
of.
we didn't vote on that
Oh, we
yet?
didn't vote. Honey, I'm moving on because I know Donna's daughter's coming home. So that's why I'm trying to move it along. And she is very excited, but we're going to be held up for a little bit longer. Okay, I need to vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It passes unanimously. Now I need an approval of the International Association of Approved Basketball Officials, number 244 IAABO contract by Dr. Dorsey and Mr.
Oh, did you?
Whistler.
You
He
already
seconded.
Mr. Whistler.
This contract is to provide officials for all home basketball games and scrimmages for the upcoming season. Questions?
Yeah, what's a varsity basketball referee get?
Funny you should ask that.
Well, you knew I was gonna
Herbert,
ask.
I did not think you would ask such a thing. For
Now
the
you know
first
better
year,
than
it's a
that.
4-year contract. For the first year, our varsity officials will make $80 per game. And by year
Now let's hear
4,
the bad part.
by year 4, it'll be up to 95, so that we can keep
Okay.
pace with our surrounding
So
counties.
now we're going to ask for basketball officials, right? No.
Always.
Always.
So
Okay.
that's 20% over 4 years. That's not that bad. That's all right.
Hey, we need them. You can't run them. You can't. You
Well, the
can't.
issue is our surrounding counties are paying higher, and officials are members of multiple boards.
Okay, you can
So
go
if we
sit down
don't have
now.
competitive costs- if our
Say that.
If our pay rate is not competitive, then they'll select games in other counties, and we'll be left holding an empty gym, and that doesn't look good for us.
No, that doesn't look good. All right, thank you. Any other questions?
So, Marcia, you said you knew I was going to ask that other question.
Yeah.
I knew you were going to ask that question.
I always want to know what the pay rate is, you know?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, any other comments? I call for the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It passes unanimously. That's what happens when we've been together for 8 years. Now I need a motion for the approval of assignment of fund balance.
So moved.
So moved by Ms. Pataglia, seconded by Mr. Whistler.
In accordance with policy DBDA, I'm recommending the assignment of fund balance for two specific purposes. These are two projects that are identified needs and require a one-time funding source to complete. With the annual independent audit complete, we know that the fund balance is healthy enough to support these projects and allow them to move forward without impacting any funds that we apply to schools. Assignment of the funds to the designated projects now allows staff to move forward with planning and implementation.
Comments, questions? Okay, here we go.
Wait.
So, Mr. O'Neill, I just wanted to, I've already talked to you about some of these questions, but just for the purposes of the public can hear it. So the surplus balance that's been certified for this year that will go into fund balance, you said it's about $6 million
$6
this year?
million, correct.
Okay, so that directly relates to the amount of money that we're using here.
More or
So-
less. It's probably not to the exact dollar, but it's pretty close.
Okay, and it keeps us within the threshold of what we typically like to keep our fund balance. So 1 to 4%, this would still have us right at like 2.5, 3.
Keeps you right around 3, which we've tried to maintain for many, many years now. So it's a kind of midpoint of your policy or midpoint of the Gatsby proclamation. And we think healthy enough that if some emergent scenario happened, we would be covered, but not too much that it's too much. So it should be just about in the
All
right
right.
place.
Okay. Great.
Any other comments, questions? I call for the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It passes unanimously. Now I need a motion for the approval of capital improvement plan and capital budget request.
So moved.
By Dr. Dorsey, seconded by Ms. Pataglia.
At the September meeting, we presented and discussed a draft CIP. The proposed CIP was submitted for public feedback, and I don't believe we received any comments. It returns this evening for your approval. Your action to adopt this evening will allow us to submit our recent draft to both the county and state to align with their annual capital processes.
Ms. Savigny. Didn't even look.
Were you done talking, Dr.?
I said 7 o'clock, guys. Remember that. It's going to be better.
I guess I just wanted to have a little bit of a discussion on the CIP. Just know, usually we get a couple of comments every year, and this year we literally got nothing, right?
Nope.
Okay. So I guess my only concern, well, a couple of concerns, is just, costs are escalating so high. The fact that we're projecting a refurbishment of Liberty High at $143 million, and the pre-K additions are $28 million, right? And that's effectively a state mandate, right? An unfunded state mandate, right, for the pre-K additions. So I'd like to push on that if there's any way to do that, like in terms of state funding. I don't think it's right to have the typical, they only provide so much percentage funding when this is basically a mandate from them. I think it should be more. I mean, I know that there's only so many dollars available, but it's something that I really struggle with them just continuing to put lots of unfunded mandates on us when we're already under a crunch with Blueprint and everything else. So I just want to throw that out there.
I don't want to interrupt you, but Ms. Savigny, at MABE, we had the president's luncheon, and I stood up and I made that comment, and I got a little clap. I said, no more state unfunded mandates. So I did,
Right.
yes. And the people in there were listening, and especially our new legislative person from MABE.
Okay.
And I did
That's good
state
to
that.
hear.
And
If I can add, we did discuss this issue in the legislative committee meeting at MABE, and we are going to try to make this a centerpiece issue when we, try to lobby state officials down in Annapolis later this year, or in session. But yeah, this lack of capital money is crazy. And so, and it's not a problem that we experience by ourselves, of course, if you can just.
It's all 20, it's all the counties.
All the counties are screaming for more capital funds to preserve their schools, maintain their schools, and renovate.
And we're a lot better off than a lot of counties.
We are.
We are. It's very sad in some areas.
We're a lot better off now
Yes. we were.
than a lot of counties. I would say that we got into a position, 10 years ago.
Yeah,
It
right.
was not such a rosy picture,
Yeah.
right? But we've gotten
Yeah,
a lot of this
a lot
under
better.
control. And that actually leads to my next point is, part of the reason, we were able to work with the commissioners years ago, talking about the FCI score and saying, okay, this is the measure of the maintenance level of our school buildings, and we can't maintain that. We don't want it to deteriorate. We don't want to get back in the same position that we were in 10 years ago, right? So that requires, in order for us to maintain that level of our school buildings, it requires a certain amount of infusion into the capital projects every year. And back then, it was 45 million was the number we were talking about. But if you look at it now, it's 68 million, 100 million, 70 million, 71 million over the next 5 years. Those are massively inflated numbers.
Inflationary costs.
So I just suggest, since our tenure is really winding down, Marcia, and I think this is going to be a big issue, I just suggest front-ending this as much as we possibly can for awareness with the commissioners of this situation and what it truly requires for us not to fall back into the same position that we were in 10 years.
And that's a lot of money, a lot of money.
Yeah, so I'm not saying I disagree with any of this, because I
No,
know it's
right.
where we are with the inflation of dollars, but I think that I just want to emphasize how much we need to work with the commissioners to understand the problem and
And
make
that's one of the
sure we
best
have a
things we
plan
have
for the
done.
future.
Yes,
Agreed.
and we both ran on that we were going to work with them, so. Any other comments? All right, I call for the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, it passes unanimously. Now I need a motion for the approval of the comprehensive maintenance plan
So moved.
by Ms. Battaglia and seconded by
Second.
Mr. Whistler. Thank you.
We are required to submit an annual comprehensive maintenance plan to the IAC. The plan outlines our structure, plans, and process for maintaining and improving our facilities. Staff is available for any questions or discussion, and I see Mr. Prokop coming to
Making
the
his way
podium.
to the podium.
Come on down. Oh, that's, let's make a deal. Comments, questions? Whatever? Ms. Savigny?
And actually, I just do want to take a step back for a second from my prior comments, and I would be remiss if I didn't recognize Mr. Kane. I know you came up to the podium. Did he leave the room already?
No, he's
Oh, he's
Oh, there,
over
he's over
hiding.
there. Okay, you're behind Mr. Shockney. I would be remiss in not thanking you for all the work that you do on this every year and really helping. It was one of the first things that I tried to tackle as a board member, trying to understand this and how do we put it into numbers that we can tell a story to the commissioners that makes sense and that they can get behind. And you were instrumental to all of that. So I just want to thank you for all the work that you've done in that regard. And
Those
with
two
that-
had their personal conversations while we all watched for a half hour.
So, okay, now,
Okay.
on to the comprehensive maintenance plan.
Yes.
Just a quick comment. So when I was looking at the staffing, this is something that I always check every year on page 6, kind of looking at the staffing levels. And I, went back and compared to last year, and it looks like we have had a 0 change in staff positions. So there might have been a little bit of movement around categories and things like that, but it was a 0 add to staff. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, great. And then there was one other. On page 11, when we're talking about facility usability. So last year, we had all 0s, which was amazing, right? Never any failures that shut down facilities for a day. This year, we had 2, which is still amazing, I think, for the, the number of buildings in our purview. But is there, I just wanted to make sure, like, we don't think there's any, like, systemic deterioration or anything, like, we wouldn't, there's nothing that we're expecting there to be ongoing problems.
We didn't expect either one of these, no. But Northwest Middle is the chiller, it was the chiller issue.
Right.
So we hope to have a solution for that this winter. And the other one was a pipe failure at Winfield Elementary. Sometimes that stuff just happens, and it broke, caused us to be off for a day, and that was it.
Okay, right. I think that's pretty amazing, amazing recovery. All right. And then one last thing on page 13, where we're talking about the costs, the FY24 actual cost per square foot.
Right.
And I remember seeing this last year, that in 2024, the budget, we were seeing huge increases in those per square foot costs. But now it looks like they're dropping way off again for our 2025 projections. And was there something driving that?
Well, it's the reduction in capital money that's coming in. So this is, you had mentioned earlier the FCI. I would liken this, what this chart shows us, and admittedly, it's a difficult chart to sort of wrap your head around. To me, it's not very user-friendly. Nevertheless, it does show that trend downward of the money that's being invested in preventive maintenance and corrective maintenance. And so we're trending in the wrong direction, whether you feel that the 3% or the 4% total maintenance and operations combined is the right figure. The trend is what we're concerned about. This does show a concern, and we just mentioned earlier about increasing the capital funds, the state capital funds. That all plays into that investment in our existing inventory. So that's what that's showing us. It's not a number we want to go down. It's a number we want to maintain, just like we want to maintain that FCI.
Okay, so maybe I'm not reading this chart correctly, because you said it is a confusing chart. Because if you're looking at deferred maintenance, right? So the FY24 actual was $11.71
per square foot.
per square foot, but our FY25 budget is $4.
Correct.
And 1 cent.
That's what we're anticipating. What FY24 actual is reflecting is the end of the funds from Career and Tech and East.
Okay.
So now we're back into a cycle where our funds are limited from the state perspective to $10 or $11 million a year, which limits what the county's going to provide to us, which limits the type of projects we're going to be able to get, the quantity of the projects we're going to be able to get. So we're not doing those large-scale modernizations and replacements. We're doing additions, throwing in a systemic or two. That's what we can afford. So when we talk about asking the state for more funds, that's the capital funds. This is what is happening now that we've gone past those major projects.
Okay.
So this is showing a troubling trend with those smaller numbers.
Okay. Thank you. I was reading it backwards. I was actually looking at that as a good guy, whereas it's anticipated what we'll be able to afford to put in, not what we actually think it's going to cost. Okay. Okay. Well, that is troubling. All right. Thank you, Mr. Prokop.
All right, Mr. Whistler.
A comment again. Thank you for putting this together for us. I look at this document all the time, and for the public that's watching, I really encourage you to go to the board website under documents and look at this document under 6I. It really gives you an idea of just what we're thinking about as far as investing funds in our schools to preserve our schools. I had a question on appendix. I think it's the planned actions, section 5, page 16. The combined assessment scores. That is current state, or is that what we expect it will be after we make these? I'm assuming it's current state.
It's current state.
Okay, great. Okay. Well, again, I really appreciate it, and I really encourage the public to check out this document, because I get lots of questions all the time about, like, when's my roof going to be changed? Or But this really lays out for the public just how your tax dollars are being invested in our schools and preserving our schools for our students and teachers. But thank you.
And as long as he said that, there is so much information on the website, period, that people are not using. And it is all there for anyone to look up, or if they have a desire to find some information out. There is good stuff on that website. Do you have anything else? Okay. All right, I call for the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It passes unanimously. Now we will move on to possible board committee topics. I have none. Does anyone else right now? Seeing none, we will move on to Wednesday, November 13th, 2024. We'll have a board meeting with public participation in the boardroom at 125 North Court Street, Westminster. Please go to the Big Country Breakfast on October 19th. Please go vote. And I need to restate that we will be reconvening in closed session after this. For the purpose of, here we go, to consider the acquisition of real property for a public purpose and matters directly related thereto, and to consult with counsel to obtain legal advice. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Before we do that, I'd like to say, next month, it's a Wednesday, and it's your last meeting, correct?
Yes.
So it's must-see TV next month, because it's going to be the last hurrah for two fantastic colleagues that I know I'm going to miss tremendously. So with that, I'll stand by for a motion to adjourn. I move that we adjourn.
And I need a second. I will second. Okay. Dr. Dorsey, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? It passes unanimously. Well, for all your good people in the back, you all are free. Good to go. But I'm sorry, boys, you have to stay.